Okay, Craig, do you think Mauro is any closer or is he further away from the job full time, having seen that performance now?
It's hard to predict. It's hard to know what they're thinking, really. He got the job done, and we talked about this before with his knowledge and his back history with, John Herdman and his knowledge of CONCACAF and everything else. So this was so important. I'm not going to put him out there quite yet as far as, whether or not he's going to be or not, but I still think he's in with a shout, which isn't a bad thing. I got no problem with that.
My suspicion, though, is, and Jimmy, Dubs, you can comment on this, I think he's going to be more a victim of where he's come from than anything, in that he still is an attachment to the past. It seems that Canada Soccer right now really want to move forward with a fresh start, right? Kevin Blue's saying all the right things. We saw him address the Voyagers this past weekend as well. It seems like a brand new clean slate. We'll see what happens at the AGM in May. Is there going to be a new president? That could happen. Is he going to be a victim of the fact that he's attached that previous regime, which, right or wrong, might be, I think, what happens here? Do you agree or disagree? Dubs?
I kind of want to be measured in my answer. I think his ties to the previous regime perhaps works against him initially, but I think moving forward and establishing Canada as a footballing nation, a nation that's taken seriously worldwide, why not put a guy from here in charge? Like, that is perhaps moving in a different direction, putting a guy in charge who doesn't have European flavor, who doesn't have an accent. Why can't it be somebody from here? Maybe that's the new direction. Maybe that's what you double down on.
But maybe it is. Maybe it is. But maybe it's
maybe that's
Bobby
what I hope
Smirniotis,
for.
right? Bobby Smirniotis, or someone like that. Tommy Wilden Jr., who knows, right? A Canadian who has background in the game in this country. Jimmy, what's your thoughts? I mean, Mauro, like you said, he got the job done. Qualified for Copa, done.
Yeah. I listen. I think it's a clean slate. I think that Kevin's going to be coming in, and I don't think he cares where you've been, what regime you were under. I think he's, for me, in my opinion, he would have to come in and base it on an honest opinion, regardless of where that individual comes from, because we've got to get the best individual that we can, and keep in mind for that budget that we have in place, right? So remember, we're not going after a $2, $3, $4 million coach here. We got a coach maybe for a couple $100,000, and you're going to say, okay, what's the best coach that we're going to get for this price point? And
yeah, we're rolling in money,
right? And then, well, let's be honest.
Well,
right?
Herdman was what, 600,000-700,000 around there, wasn't he?
Yeah,
you would think.
I don't know if that money's still there.
Well, that's what I mean. Is that money still there? Because
that's one thing about
being more. I think it's going to be probably less.
When I say about being attached to a different regime, at the same time, one of the few positives of the previous 3 or 4 years on the men's side was the men's team with John Herdman, right?
Yeah,
very few people question him, and Mauro was central to that, a huge part of that as John's right hand man.
Yeah, but I think what they're going to look at now, they'll look at the last few games that he had against Jamaica. Jamaica's going to be very important. That result, how we ended up getting against Trinidad. Yes, he got the result done. Was it a convincing performance against Trinidad? It was a bit of a struggle for us to get through Jamaica and Trinidad. We got the job done, yes. But I think now they've got to look at the big picture and think, okay, is Mauro, yes, he is a Canadian guy. Can he get the best out of these players? Because if we perform the way that we performed against Trinidad in the Copa, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. Let's be honest. So it's got to be a hell of a lot better. And then also, again, a manager that does come in for the price point that we're looking at. Does he have experience international football? Does he know the CONCACAF landscape? There's a lot that he's got to be well aware of. And to be fair, it's not just the CONCACAF landscape. It's going to be the world landscape, because we're playing the Copa now against South American players, and then the World Cup's going to be completely different. European, Asian, African. I think they've got to be well-versed in world football, this next manager.
One thing that's great is that this Copa America will give them a chance to play against other confederations, other teams, because they just haven't done enough of that. With the Nations League, they've played way too many games against a very, very poor CONCACAF nation or area right now.
Yeah.
And the
Very
Dutch.
poor.
Plus the Dutch, right? You got that game in the build-up.
Yep,
to it as well,
exactly.
which is
Exactly. So these
phenomenal.
teams are all in the top 50, top 40. So
Yeah.
this is a really good test for them, was exactly what they need.
Yeah. See, keep in mind the friendlies are good. They're good, they're competitive, but nothing beats an international match where something's on the line, because a game is completely different than it is to a friendly. Completely different.
Is it crucial that the man or woman, who's in charge of Canada for Copa, is the same person who's in charge of Canada for the World Cup? Have they got to get that person in place full time before Copa, or can they wait a little bit longer?
I think ideally you'd like to have some continuity there from, tournament play, meaningful games, and translating that into hopefully success at the World Cup. But I don't think it's essential or critical. I think you want to just get the right person. So I think that the timing on that, I think if they rush through it and want to pull the trigger, I mean, it's really not a whole lot of time to work with, right? Prior to June. So you're really against the clock here to get that person in. So, you give Mauro more time, and maybe he confirms that, he deserves to have that interim tag taken away, and he's your guy, or maybe it's somebody different that you have your eye on. I think that still gives them enough time to get their bearings, the team to get their footing under a new philosophy, perhaps, or just different ideals that they're going to espouse. And then you move forward, and I think you're still organized and you're in good stead ahead of 26.
So what's your expectations for Copa? I mean, okay, forget the first game. It's going to be incredible, by the way, for Canadian football, playing Argentina and hopefully Messi if he's healthy. And then you got Peru and you got Chile. All right, Peru are no world beaters, but they're a decent team and a hard team. You see this Chilean squad? They're old. This is a last hurrah, the farewell to a previous generation. Alexis Sanchez, Gary Medel, Arturo Vidal. These are quality players 5 years ago. Is there an opportunity there? I tell you, this group, it doesn't intimidate me nearly as much as the World Cup group did. Let me say that.
Didn't we say the same thing about Croatia?
I didn't.
Old.
No, come on. People did, but that was a lazy narrative. It's Croatia.
Chile's got that something extra, though, that's sort of intangible. They've got that spice.
Oh, there's spice there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's spice. I wonder what the reception's going to be like.
Well, it's not. The thing is, it's in the States, right? And it's going to be all Chileans, all Peruvians, and all Argentinians. But it's not like it's in South America, in the hotbed of football. It's so. I wish it was. I wish it was, being hosted by, I don't know, Colombia. Not to rub it in, Jimmy, Craig. Or, like a real hotbed of football. But still, it's going to be good. The atmosphere will be fantastic. There'll be full stadiums. It's going to be something for the whole, isn't it?
Yeah. And we'll have a couple thousand Canadians there, I'm sure.
Hey, listen. Let's surprise Canadian football fans. Let's surprise the world here. Let's surprise Craig. That should be some kind of marketing campaign. Surprise Craig.
Yeah.
All right. Voyagers, get on it. All right.
Yeah. We're happy to get 30 people in a bar. Forget about traveling.
But speaking of that, the Voyagers, you could hear them. At that game. The stadium
and the players and the coaches.
You could hear everybody. The echo was on point. But Kevin Blue apparently made an appearance at a bar nearby. I don't know if it was pregame or what, but he showed his face and did some glad handing, and I think that's good.
What do you mean?
More of what he's been doing
in Texas,
in Frisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He met with the Voyagers, yeah. It's on social.
Oh.
Yeah. And you refer to them as their leaders, and that's a good way to put it. Because they should be.
Well, he's the one who tweeted out, "We are inside you," right?
That was deleted pretty quickly.
Was
Copa America. We are inside you, and it looked kind of like a vagina, didn't it? Like the way the players were,
So maybe the Nations League should be a pink cup, not the W Gold Cup.
Yeah.
What happened with that one? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, let's not get into that. I feel
it got deleted, and then I think
there's a lot of trouble for that.
Was it Thomas Hewitt? He ended up reposting it.
Yeah.
Who did?
Screenshotted it. He said, "Remember when they posted this?
Oh.
It's tremendous."
Well, it's the best moment of the night, probably, apart from the final result. And that's not true. Shaffelburg's goal was great.
Oh my God.
Shaffelburg's, I mean, he's someone that's kind of arisen, and another great move, TFC, by the way. Well done. But someone that's going to maybe force himself into. Oh, there Jimmy's got it. It's a screensaver, in fact.
It's a well-lit vagina right in the middle there.
It's like a good visit to the gynecologist.
That's right.
Vagina.
It's like the old smear.
Is Kevin Blue Is Kevin Blue the speculum then?
Oh, he would be.
Yes.
The speculum. Is that the new nickname?
The speculum. Yeah.
Well, if Shaffelburg's the maritime Messi, then Kevin Blue's the speculum of Canada soccer.
Who are the stirrups?
The Voyagers.
The Voyagers are the stirrups.
Yep.
Well,
Holding everything together? Or not actually not together, apart.
That's right. The Great Divide.
Yeah. At the 100th meridian.
Wait,
Jimmy was saying he screenshotted immediately. Jimmy, did you know it was off base immediately?
Yeah, right away. I had a little giggle. I was like, "Oh, they blew it here."
Same as screenshotting Jimmy on, as I said, I wasn't able to catch the game live, but I checked socials after, and I think it was Carrie who posted it, and it was Jimmy sitting in between Jenkins and Jordan, and with the vag signal.
Yeah.
for everybody to see. And I was like, yes, Jimmy. Yeah. Second only to the Wheels and Jimmy banter when longtime Halifax Wanderers stalwart and player for Trinidad, Rampersad, he gets subbed off, and Wheeler says to Jimmy, "He did well today, Jim." Andre Rampersad. Pregnant pause and silence from Jimmy. I was like, tremendous.
Were you shaking your head, Jimmy?
Yeah. It's like, I'm not giving any credit to these Trinidad players.
I laughed out loud, and I rewound it and watched it and listened to it at least 3 or 4 times.
That's your new phone, isn't it?
It's like Jimmy covers CPL. Like, he could just talk about this guy and CPL.
I felt the Wheels a few times, actually, Jimmy. It's like, help him out here. You're like, just this disdain in your silence of what you're watching was spoke volumes, but like Wheels just like sets you up and like there's nothing, like, fuck, help him out.
My Canada hat was on.
It was I laughed too. I was watching it on my phone. I watched the whole game on my phone, which isn't ideal in my
in an arena.
In an arena, yeah, which wasn't great, but I got to see enough of it anyway. But yeah, listen, you know what? The term "job done." When I first started using it, it's a very football term, isn't it? Job done. And when I first started using it years ago, you know, not many people used it over here, and now everyone fucking uses it. I see it everywhere, and it's lost its power.
Is that what you're most angry about, or you're just mad that everyone else is using a turn of phrase that you feel like you kind of coined?
Yeah, no, I brought it over. I feel like I brought it over to Canada. I didn't coin it.
See, I never heard it before until Peterman on Seinfeld, and when Elaine took over the publishing company, and he comes back and then just says, "Elaine, here's to," thinking that she's going to say "job well done."
Kudos, Elaine, on a job done.
That was it. Peterman.
What a great character.
Brilliant character, yeah. The speculum of Seinfeld in many ways.
That's right.
Yeah.
Important figure. What was I saying? Job done. Oh yeah, Shaffelburg. Yeah, no one mentioned Shaffelburg. You know, let's talk about him a little bit, because is he going to force himself into contention to start? Do you think? Has he got that potential as a footballer? He provides that dynamicism that Canada needs, I think. Now, they have some quality out wide, but maybe that allows different formations. I don't know, a different way to use Fonzie. Can Fonzie move inside? Is that a potential, or do you just use him where he's best? What does Shaffelburg do for you, Jimmy?
I like him a lot. I said it during the game. I don't know how to understand why TFC got rid of him. Doesn't make sense to me. I always like the way he plays. I like how direct he is. He wants to get at players. Every single match, he seems to cause problems. And I think there is an opportunity for him. but where he fits into this squad, does he get in front of Davies? Does he get in front of Buchanan? Like, I don't know. I don't know where you're going to end up putting him, especially in the formation that they've just played. I think he's more of a 4-3-3. Stick him out wide and let him just run at players and get him behind. But it's a tough decision on whatever manager comes in, how you're going to get him into your squad, because he is a great player for me. I like him, and I think he's a huge asset. Or maybe you just leave him on the bench and you bring him on that last 30 minutes or so just to cause havoc.
Tajon, I know you mentioned him earlier, but he looked like a player who hasn't played very much football in the last little while to me. He had his moments, but he seemed to be lacking a bit of confidence. Apart from that fucking stupid little thing he tried to do over the guy's head outside the box. What was that? The little flick?
It was awesome.
Right?
I actually thought that wasn't bad. I thought
really?
It was
It didn't work though.
No, it didn't work, but I thought it was a bold move and good effort.
That's big timing it though, isn't it? A little bit. Doesn't that deserve like a stud to the knee at some point?
Yes, probably.
Yeah, thank you, Dubs. It does, right? Because I know you would have been.
I would have delivered it. Yes.
Yeah, right.
But that's what Canada needs more of. We don't. I think if that would have
If it
come
works.
off, that's all we're talking about, right? So
Yeah, but it
go
didn't come off,
have
that was the point.
have the balls to try it, and sometimes it's not gonna come off. But
It's the right area to
He's
try it. He's not in his own
There you
18-yard box.
Same area that Boyan tried it.
Yeah, oh my
Remember
God.
that?
Yeah,